Hi, my name is Karim Oteify. I'm an entrepreneur and creator living here in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. So you want to know why you shouldn't live in Rotterdam? Cool, that's what we're talking about today. One of the reasons I really don't love living in Rotterdam is the hustle culture and the speed of life. So Rotterdam is really one of those big metropolitan cities in terms of the speed of life. Things here are going go, 100 miles an hour. You have to do this, you have to do that, you have to get to work, then you do your side hustle, then you do all of those different little career thingies that everybody wants to do. Everyone's always on edge, everyone's always doing something, everyone's keeping busy. It's sort of a work hard, play hard kind of city. So if work hard, play hard isn't your mentality, if you're someone who likes a bit more relaxed pace, a la Belgium, a la France, something a bit more chill, something where not everybody's on edge all the time, not things need to get done so quickly and so efficiently, rather we take our time, we take longer breaks, we're more of a relaxed approach, then Rotterdam really isn't the city for you.
Here we go!
Another reason Rotterdam isn't the city for you is if you like glitz and glam and shiny things and like old buildings and really, if you like the old money aesthetic, if you want to be the Serena van der Woodsen of the world, then this really isn't the city for you. Rotterdam is beautiful, believe me, but we're much more glassy, techy, modern, hustle and bustle, keep moving worker vibe. So if you want to chill with your girlfriends at a cocktail bar, live in a more established, older city, want to live that sort of shiny life, then Rotterdam really isn't the city for you. Sort of tying into that is the concept that connects the media industry and your different perspectives. Because I studied media, right? So that's my background. So if you're looking to grow into the media arena, whether it's working in big agencies, for example, whether it's building your own career online, like I'm trying to do now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this to be the city for it. If you're the type of person who's an entrepreneur, who wants to build some sort of business, then this is the right arena for you. There's a lot of connections, there's a lot of people in that sense. But if media is where you want to go, and you want to shine and glow and be a star, there's a lot more of that in Amsterdam. I think our most intense and most glamorous times are around IFFR. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. It's the International Film Festival of Rotterdam. That's when you get some sort of big citywide event happening, something huge going on. But other than that, I wouldn't necessarily call anything that happens here glamorous per se. Now, that is not to say that the city isn't happening. You've got a lot of nice restaurants, you've got great spaces where people can meet, you've got all kinds of little festivals happening here and there, but it's not the whole gold star, 100% Michelin, cocktails, intense, cool vibe that you might get in Amsterdam. It's much more low-key, but that also makes it much more homey. And again, when I say low-key, I mean low-key by the standards of very, very big international cities like Cairo, where I'm from. By the Netherlands, it's still pretty big and pretty shiny, but if you're an international like me who comes from a much bigger city where the scope of what's big is different, then you might really feel the difference. But on the other hand, you get the trade-off that things here, although the pace of life is much quicker, things here are a bit calmer in terms of not too many tourists, not so much noise all the time, while your life may be faster, your surroundings are easier. I'm really curious to hear what your favorite cities are and what your favorite places in the world are. Maybe if I've been there, I can say something about them. So please sound off in the comments. Tell me if you like Paris, or if you like Berlin, or if you like somewhere like Antwerp. And if I've been there, I'll make sure to leave a reply below telling you what my experience was like. Or even if it's something that I know quite well, we could talk about other cities. Another reason why you might want to consider moving somewhere else, even if it's within the Netherlands, is affordability. Rotterdam is not affordable. A lot of people say it's a bit less expensive than Amsterdam. That might be true in some cases, but especially looking at things like the housing market, they've become pretty comparable. So if affordability and the sort of cheaper lifestyle is what you're looking for, I would not recommend moving to the big cities like Rotterdam, Amsterdam, or The Hague. But I can only speak from my experience living here. Expenses really add up. So if you really have to consider your finances, I would move to something a bit smaller or even something like a village on the outskirts, just so things are a bit calmer. Somewhere like Schiedam, for example, might be a bit better. But yeah, you'd look at spending what you'd usually spend in a bigger city here in your daily life, on restaurants, on groceries, on your housing, and just basic household expenses. It is the second biggest city of the Netherlands, after all, and prices really reflect that. That is not to say that living an affordable lifestyle here in Rotterdam is not possible. I'm just saying that generally it can be a bit more difficult if you have a limited budget. And you really have to take that into account, that your expenses will grow exponentially as you do more things and as you develop yourself here. If you get a career, if you're studying, there's a lot to take into account financially. So if money is really a big concern for you and getting the biggest bang for your buck, this isn't the bang for your buck kind of city. I'm also currently working on a newsletter so that I can stay a bit closer to you guys, that I can communicate a bit of my thoughts, my ideas on the city, cool things I found, just so we can stay in touch. So if that's something that interests you, it should be available below pretty soon. Another point that really may not be for everyone when it comes to Rotterdam is the distinct separation of neighborhoods. So if you live here, you're familiar with what every area sort of stands for, and that some areas are cooler to live in than others. For example, Kralingen can tend to be really popular within sort of richer upper crust, but also a student crowd. Somewhere like Hilgersberg is known to be where a lot of the old money is, just as an example. And that separation is very distinct. You get these little sort of mini neighborhoods with their own identities and their own sort of bubble, and it's really designed to maintain you within that arena, if that makes sense. Obviously you're free to go wherever you want in the city, but most people, if you live in a certain area, will probably hang out there just because it's more convenient. So if that's not a thing for you, then maybe it isn't. For example, for me, I come from Cairo, where that distinction is a lot more fluid. So you've got a piece of a street that's part of the really friendly part, and then you move into a bit of a more everyman, sort of grittier part of town right away. And then across from the water, there's this little area that's still also cool. So it's a lot less distinct, it's a lot more fluid. So if that's the type of city you come from, I understand you might prefer that. But like I said, to each their own, I guess. Do you feel like this helps you learn more about Rotterdam and your decision about whether or not you should maybe move here? If so, then please, please, please give us a like and a subscribe so that we can please the YouTube gods and we can keep creating content that makes you happy. Now that we've talked about the things I maybe don't like as much about living in Rotterdam, we can also talk about things I really, really love. And for that, I've got a video that I did a couple of weeks ago about the amazing reasons why you should move here and why this is a great city to live in. Click on it, it should pop up right now.